welcome to Trending with the Tribune, and my name is Ashley Benkarski, and we're here today with U.S. Senate candidate Robin Kimbrough. She is running to replace Lamar Alexander in his seat. Ms. Kimbrough, can you just tell us a little bit about yourself?
I'd love to. I'm originally from Lexington, Kentucky, and I grew up in a trailer park in Lexington, Kentucky where my mom and I were the only African American family. I experienced lots of racism in the trailer park, but in spite of that, I was able to build community and make friends. I lived in the trailer from 5 years old to 17. One thing that the trailer park taught me was how to stretch resources, and it taught me how to make a lot out of a little. And it gave me the drive to go to Fisk University in Nashville and then on to Emory School of Law in Atlanta. And from there, I practiced law in the public sector as an assistant attorney general and later as an associate general counsel with the Department of Children's Services. And I spent 10 wonderful years working at the Tennessee Coalition to End Domestic and Sexual Violence, where I did wonderful work helping victims of domestic violence by advancing policy and legislation that would keep victims safe and hold batterers accountable. This work gave me a passion to do further service with the state of Tennessee. I do lots of social justice work in my local community, and I still do statewide outreach through social justice initiatives and still working with issues related to domestic violence and sexual assault. And this is the same passion and the same fight that got me out of the trailer park is the same passion and same fight that I'm going to take to Washington, D.C. so I can stand up for the rights, issues, and voices of the people of Tennessee.
Okay, awesome. And so what made you decide to run? What was the jumping point for you?
The jumping point for me was I just could not continue just to sit on the sidelines and watch these policies implemented by the Senate majority. It cast upon the American people, especially those in Tennessee. I had instead of sitting on the sidelines, I decided to get into the fight. So many times we talk about the problem, but I wanted to do something about it. And that's why I decided to run for this United States Senate seat. Then COVID-19 came, and it shed the truth on what these policies have really done to American people. They've hurt American people. People are without health insurance. Over 30 million people have lost their jobs. And people are struggling to get an unemployment check. Even though they've qualified for it, they are still struggling even to get the check. This is why I knew that I needed to jump in this fight. I have been called to be in this race for such a time as this. And then, while I've been running on this race, we've had 2 racially motivated killings. Yesterday, this weekend, George Floyd was killed. A police officer kneed him for over 10 minutes. I knew I needed to be in the race once again because we need a candidate who's going to speak out against these injustices. My platform includes criminal justice reform. Until we address the inherent racism in the criminal justice system, we cannot change and stop the needless death of people in our community. And this is why I'm asking for people to vote for me, because I am not afraid to talk about uncomfortable issues like racism, sexism, and homophobia. We need a candidate who's going to stand up and seek out justice for all.
Yeah. And on that, we've had leaders in the Congress who have said that basically people are making more money on unemployment benefits than they would be if they were still at work. And there's kind of like this conversation about entitlement and things like that. And I was just wondering what your response to that line of thought is.
Well, Lamar Alexander made that statement. And this is why we need to flip this seat in November. For someone to say that people are just staying at home and collecting unemployment is an insult to the American people. People are using this unemployment to buy food, to pay rent, and pay a mortgage note. These funds are vitally necessary for the financial and emotional survival of these persons. These persons are not just sitting at home. They're worried about how they're going to get their health care paid for because they no longer have health insurance. And for someone to say that they're getting more money on unemployment benefits than they would be working is an insult to how our government treats the working people. Working people should be getting paid a living wage, a wage that will allow them to live out the American dream. Like I work 3 jobs to pay out-of-pocket health and premiums for my children and to make ends meet. So no one should have to do that because it takes away from quality of life. And this is why I'm for Medicare for all. Because I believe everybody should be in a position to have access to medical benefits. People who have lost their job as a result of COVID-19 also lost their health insurance. And if we had Medicare for all, these persons would not have to worry about eating on top of paying for expensive health care services.
Yeah, that's true. So what's your, I know that you recently urged Governor Lee and Mark Goings, who is the state election coordinator, to expand or to reverse their decision to prevent expanded vote by mail. I was just wondering why you thought they had made that decision in the first place, and if this is going to be like a cornerstone of your campaign.
This is a cornerstone of my campaign because my campaign theme is passion for Tennessee. That means I have the passion for the lives of the people of Tennessee. When we're asking people to risk their lives to go out and vote, we are not showing care and compassion for the people of Tennessee. I do not want to speak entirely on why the Republicans do not want expanded vote by mail. But one thing I do know, that if people can vote by mail, we will have a greater number of voter turnout. And I believe the Republican Party is afraid of this. They're afraid that we're going to come out and vote. And they're afraid that we're going to flip this seat. And they're afraid that we're going to move on past these terrible policies that have been inflicted upon us for many years and undo them. And that's why I'm encouraging people to fight that we're able to vote by mail and that we're able to vote in a socially responsible manner.
All right. And on that note, do you think that the state of Tennessee is opening too soon?
I think that we need to really reevaluate how we're opening. We need to look at the scientific data. We need to look at how curves are going. And we need to make sure that employers and businesses have the necessary PPE to take care of customers and their employees. As long as that's done, we need to implement a gradual progress to reopen. And we need to do so with procedures and accountability in place. Because we don't want to end up in a worse position than from whence we have come.
Mm-hmm. And just really quickly before we wrap up, I was just going to ask, can you just kind of briefly tell us how your faith has influenced your politics?
This is a really good question. My faith influences my politics because my faith teaches me to have compassion for all. So as a person of faith, I care about people with faith and people who have no faith. Because this is what my religious beliefs teach me. They teach me about compassion. They teach me about healing, and that's why I'm for Medicare for all. They teach me about serving the least of these. This is why I am for expanding a living wage. It teaches me about peace. That's why I have a foreign policy platform that encourages collaboration and working together. It teaches me about valuing people regardless of their gender context. This is why I'm for equal pay for equal work. It teaches me about fairness and forgiveness. This is why I'm for criminal justice reform. And my faith, most of all, teaches me about love. And we have forgotten about that in our community in so many ways. Hate has become the order of the day. And I promise you, as your United States Senator, as your candidate for United States Senator, I may be outspent, I may be out in other areas. But one thing about it, there is no candidate that will outlove me, outserve me, or outcompassion me, because I have passion for Tennessee.
Well, that's amazing. So yeah, Robin Kimbrough Hayes, U.S. Senate candidate. Remember that early voting begins July 17th through August the 1st, with voting election day on August the 6th. And can you tell voters where to find you if they want to know more about you?
Great. Please visit my website, robinforsenate.com, and you can follow me on Twitter at robinforsenate. And I'm on Facebook at Robin Kimbrough Hayes, and you can visit my Senate page, Robin Kimbrough Hayes for United States Senate.
Awesome. It was amazing having you here. Thank you so much for stopping by and taking time and wearing a mask during an interview.
Thank you. My scarf was a little off here, but it served well as a mask today because I want to make sure that we're all socially responsible.
It's all a learning curve. All right.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Robin.
Thank you.